Hi everyone, it is Monday, it's weekly planner day. This is the 2022 Johanna Basford Planner, 28th of Feb, last day of February. I cannot believe it. And we have a picture here which I have done for you before. I've done the full page of this in step-by-step videos, and it's on my channel under my Lost Ocean section playlist. But I'm not going to stop me doing it today. I'm just going to do it in a very different way. I thought it would be fun just to show you a different approach to doing some of it. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to concentrate on the lighthouse and rocks and maybe a bit of the sea, and see how we go. Now, last time I did a red and white lighthouse, which was rather cute. This time we're going to do a sort of grey concrete looking lighthouse just to make it look really different. So I'm going to use actually Polychromos pencils just because they have some nice greys and different tones of grey. And I want sort of browny greys, so the warm greys will work really well. So I'm going to start with my dark colours and then move on to lighter colours later. First of all, I'm going to use my dark sepia. You won't see this. It's the light isn't right, and it's too small. But what I'm going to do is do the really dark area. So inside the door and these little dots, which I think are windows, I want to make this a more dark picture. My last one was quite bright and cheery. Now we've got a stormy sea. So I'm thinking, let's go dark. So I'm going really dark around the edge of the doorway and then a little bit lighter inside, but I want it to look a little bit dark and foreboding. It's stormy out there. Yeah, I usually like positive, happy pictures, but it is a lighthouse. And there is the sea. It does look quite stormy if you want to interpret those swirly things as sort of riptides and storm. And also the light is on the lighthouse. I don't think they keep them on all the time, only if it's stormy, but I'm not sure. I don't know a lot about lighthouses. It's not my area of expertise. Anyway, in each of these I've done the same as the door, so sort of going darker on the outside of each, trying to make them look like it's dark inside. The lighthouse not very friendly. So there we go with that. Okay, so I'm not going to go quite so dark with the concrete lighthouse, just because I want those to look much darker, and I think if you have a bit of a contrast they'll look darker. I'm going to zoom in more. We're still a little bit far away, aren't we? There you are, a bit closer. So I want to do, let's think, I think this one will probably work for our first one. I'm going to do the darkest colours first. Now this lighthouse is round. This is warm grey 5, by the way, that I'm going to be using next. So we want to emphasise that shape by putting some dark colour all the way down here. I know we've got these across lines. I'm going to treat it all as one section at the minute. I might change my mind after, because we're not doing stripes, we can sort of ignore those lines maybe. It might be like floors, like, you know, different floors in the lighthouse. All of my lighthouse experience comes from a kiddies TV programme called Portland Bill. I don't know if any of you in the UK will remember it. It may have made its way across to other countries, I don't know. Now this bit sticks out, it's like a little platform almost, so we want a dark bit underneath where there's shadow, and hopefully it will look like it's standing out, and we'll do the same here above it too. So that's a really intense layer, lots of layers of dark colour, and a little bit of this here and there. Okay, and we're going to do the same down here. Yeah, in Portland Bill, I don't really remember much of it, I was quite young. I remember, yeah, they used to go up lots of stairs. I'm sure the lighthouses all have lots of stairs. And under there too. And hopefully we can sort of emphasise these little bits that are sticking out. If you don't have Lost Ocean or this book, there's also a very nice lighthouse in what's the book called? Worlds of Wonder, on the sort of near the beginning. I think it might be the first page with the floating islands. There's a really pretty lighthouse on that page. So this is Cold Grey 4. So we're moving up in brightness a little bit, and we're just going to extend these dark edge areas a bit. I'm going to put a little bit there. I'm not pressing too hard. I want some contrast between the two greys, but we can always go back over the grey if it's not dark enough. Now, although I want this to look rounded, so by making it lighter in the centre, it helps to emphasise that that bit's closer to you, and somehow that makes it look more rounded. I don't want it to look metallic, because with greys it can look silver. So I want to make sure it doesn't look like that, because that isn't the effect I want. We're going down to Cold Grey 3 now. We're just basically adding layer after layer, getting lighter and lighter. And we'll definitely have to come back in with some dark colours after, but that's okay. We'll just get this all laid down first, and then we're able to see where it needs a bit more dark grey. So the last one I'm going to use is the Cold Grey 2. Surprise, surprise. Warm grey. They're all warm greys. I say cold. I don't know how many times I've been saying cold. They're warm. They're warm greys. And across the centre here, just basically filling in all the white now on the whole of the lighthouse. And sort of blend it round. That's what I'm doing, trying to fill in any little white gaps that I've got. I don't want white gaps. And it's looking quite concretey and sort of foreboding. I think I might have forgotten to do much on those. We'll go back in a minute. Which is the whole idea that I wanted. You obviously don't have to make it look completely foreboding like this, but now I'm going back in with my very darkest grey, not the sepia, but the warm grey 5. And just emphasising little bits that I want to look just a tad darker. Now, how am I deciding? I'm thinking shadow. I'm thinking emphasising shape. Having a nice dark edge can make a really big difference. And it also sort of almost eliminates the black edge line that's printed on, which some people like to do. If you colour over it with a dark colour, it almost vanishes. Line's a bit thick. Under here, under here. Now, I'm also thinking, let's do this edge, emphasise this dark edge here and here. I'm also thinking the bottom of the lighthouse would maybe be a little bit darker because it's got the water near it, giving it some shadow. So I'm just going to put a tad there. I'm just going to bring this dark colour in a bit. I'm pressing lightly, just to sort of spread it in. These are cross lines, I'm just going to go over. You don't have to do this. If you're not confident that your hand's steady enough, don't do it. I'm not confident my hand's steady enough either, but I'm risking it. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, I have completely ignored the fact that we have a light. So I'm thinking that the round bit there would be the actual bulb, but there would be light inside there. I'm trying to think which would be the brightest. Probably the centre would be the brightest, I'm thinking. So I'm going to use so the centre bit white, and just go around here in a little bit of yellow. Like that. Try and leave a white bit so it really looks quite glowy, and then Sorry, I didn't tell you I was using the cream. It's useful if I do tell you what colour I'm using, isn't it? And then on that little outside bit, I'm going to go a little bit darker. And I'm not going to use that yellow because I can't see the name. I'm going to use the light yellow glaze, which is still pale, to do the edge. There and there. It's a little bit darker. Okay, now for the light and background, what I'm actually going to do, which, let's see, I might show you in a minute. I was going to do a pastel around here in yellows, probably starting with an orangey yellow and then fading, and then the sky I'm going to do all grey because it's stormy. But I may show you that. We'll see how the time goes. I'm going to do the rocks, or maybe just one. Now, I want the rocks to look different to the lighthouse, and we've obviously used lots of grey, and rocks are probably grey. Maybe they don't need to look that different. Maybe it could be hidden in the rocks a little bit. Maybe that would be okay. Yeah, I'm contradicting myself now, but let's go for the warm grey 5 again, and have a go at these rocks. So I'm putting them darkest down by the sea edge, and then a bit lighter on top. Remember, they'll be catching a bit of the light from the lighthouse. I can actually just use this one colour, look, and get different tones. And the same here. So we go dark down there and lighter as we go up. Like that. I really want to make sure it's quite intense down near the water edge, so I am just layering it up. Okay, and the same here. And upwards. I don't mind if the rocks sort of blend into the lighthouse, I've decided. Doesn't matter too much, but the tops of the rocks, quite pale. I'm going to add a bit of the yellow. I don't want it to be really yellowy shiny because we're trying to make this look stormy and a bit, I don't know, a bit dark. But I'm going to use this light yellow glaze, just put a little bit on the top where maybe they're catching. Because remember, the whole idea is that the lighthouse helps you see the rocks so you don't crash your boat. So there we go. There are slightly shiny rocks. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the sea. We'll do just a little bit and then I'll be able to show you the pastel. I think that'll be nice to show you a bit of the sky as well. So I'm going to use these two pencils now. This is a Prismacolor Premier Slate Grey and a Holbein Navy Blue. Now, why have I chosen these two when I've got a whole tin of Polychromos? Well, they are smushy pencils and I want to make quite a thick layer of sea to try and cover over some of these lines that Johanna's put in, because I'm going to decorate it with a white pen after to do lots of sea foam and things like that. Now I've got the two colours. I'm not really sure how well they're going to work. Well, I think they'll work together. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. Start with the Holbein. This is, as I said, a navy blue. You can use any dark blue pencil, but as I said, I wanted a smushy one that I could lay down quite thickly, which is why I picked, like, the Holbeins and the Prismas are like that. So I'm gonna ignore that edge and just put a layer down. You see, I started off dark with lots of layers, and I've reduced it towards the edge because I'm going to put the grey on top. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the slate grey. I'm sorry if you don't have these colours. I'll tell you in a minute what you could use with polys instead if you wanted to. And then smush that all over the top to mix it round. Yeah? And give a sort of bluesy colour, and it's sort of almost covered over all of Johanna's drawing a little bit, not completely. You could go over with a white pen first. I don't find that works for me. So the Slate Grey, we don't really have a Polychromos the same colour, but I would say use a cold grey, probably 5, but mix it with the ultramarine, and then you might get a similar colour. And for the navy, you'd probably be best off using the Indothrene blue or the Helio blue reddish, something like that. Haven't really got a navy. The dark indigo might also work. What I would do is experiment on a piece of paper, try a few different combos, and see what works. I'm just going to do another one to show you. And what I'm going to do is on the edge put lots of dots of white, lots of seafoam, to make it look really splashy and angry splashy sea. It's going to be fun. Now this bit, actually I'm just doing this bit, which is the same as the bit I've done already. Let me just finish. I can't leave it half finished, but I'll zoom out a little bit. Apparently I'm going to try and do that with my mouse. It's not going to work. So we have got quite a lot going on with the sea. I'll just show you. So obviously all these bits are doing this sort of way, but we've got these circles. I'll probably just do them in the darkest colour. I'm doing the lightest colour on the top though most of the time. See, these I'll probably treat it as a whole. I'll ignore that outside bit and go dark to light this way. Maybe do just dark on these, and maybe just do dark on these, and then go over them, do some white either side maybe. Now, and these as well, maybe just a darker on the outside and lighter in the middle. I haven't thought about what I'm doing underneath yet. It could be all calm and still and pretty underneath maybe, and all stormy and nasty above. We'll see. But I'm going to show you my sort of pastel idea. I think that might be useful as well. So let's just pop these, just popping my Polychromos out of the way. I'm grabbing. Now I have got these pastel. Oh, sorry, I hit my tripod. Mungyo, I think, soft pastels. There are lots of different brands. I mean, Faber Castell do their own, but I think they're probably a lot more expensive. So I just got these as a present from my parents. So, and they've got a lovely mix of colours, look. So they're really nice. Now I'm looking here. These are the colours I'm looking for the sky, but I need the light as well. So I've got to think carefully about how I'm going to do it all. I'll just grab a spongy thing. Some of my yellows have got red on, which isn't ideal. Let's have a go. A lot of them are really dirty. I need to get them washed. There we go. There's a clean one. These are cotton makeup pads, and they go in the washing machine. So it's a really nice way to do the pastels because you're not throwing away a pad every time. I am going to start around the, I think I'm going to go light, a lighter yellow to a slightly darker one. I think I'm going to do that. My lightest yellow's got red on it, so I'm just turning it over and cleaning it off a bit. So this is my lightest yellow. It comes up like that. And I'm just going to put it around the edge a little bit. Actually, I'm wondering whether to leave it just this colour. I think that's what I'm going to do, because this isn't too bright. And remember, we're trying to look stormy. So maybe we don't want a really bright sort of orangey yellow. So this is, let me just show you. This is that one. That one looks a bit creamy and warm and nice. I've used that one and it looks a bit colder and lemony. So I'm just sort of spreading it around a little bit here and there. Hopefully you can see. And it's not massively intense, and I think that's what I want. I'm just going to brush away the debris. You may not be able to see it, but I'm going to go in with the grey. So what I'm going to do is fold my pad in half and put the grey on the other side. Now, which grey? Am I daring enough to go, that's black, I'm not going to use that. This one's quite dark, this one's less dark. I don't know what I'm daring enough to do. I think I might do this dark one. I think that's what I want. I want a really dark looking picture. I just hope I don't get it all over my cardigan. I'm just going to roll my sleeve up. get it all over the place. You know how messy I can be if you've watched me before. Right, so I've got quite a bit of black. And actually, I need to put a piece of paper under the page. Hang on. I happen to have one on the floor. Just put one under here because I don't want to get pastel all down the side of my book onto all the other pages that I have already completed. That wouldn't be good. And it means I can go out of the lines. Like when I do this corner, I can go out here, look. Wow, that's quite black, isn't it? It's quite dark. I'm going to keep going with that. I think that's fun. Now I'm going to do circles because I think it looks like cloud. And circles is quite a nice way to apply pastel. But I think leaving it with that sort of texture is quite effective. It looks quite angry. I'm really happy with that. And you'll see how quick it is as well to put this background on. Now down here we haven't done the pencil work yet. So I'm just going to overlap these bits at the minute and show you why that's okay. Let's see. Now I would normally do the pastel last, just because it's a bit messy, but now it's looking a bit faint here still, so I can put a bit more on. And come across to the other side. So normally when I'm putting on pastel, I try not to make my circular motion look so obvious. You know, I try and smooth it, but I'm thinking that it's adding to the angry look that we've got going on, so I think it's going to work, but I shall see. Oh, I need to answer, my sister's messaging me asking her to help with some video editing. I really don't know much about video editing. My children know a lot more. I try not to do much editing. Just export. Anyways, let's just do a little more there. And let's see. Oof. I don't know if that looks cloudy or messy. We need to go a little closer to the yellow around here. I think it looks quite cloudy. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Let's just brush off the page. Let's brush the pastel all over my desk. Right, I'll show you just briefly what to do. I'm trying to zoom in with my mouse again. Down here where we've got it all over this. Now, because we're doing navy and slate grey, if there's actually a bit of this grey in here, it won't matter, but look how easily it erases. This is a Tombow mono eraser. It's a small eraser, which is a really useful tool to have. But if you don't have one, use just a normal eraser and cut a little bit off with a sharp angle, and then you've got a bit that you can get into small details. So I'm just erasing from the bits that I'm going to colour like that. And then don't brush with your hand, you'll smudge the pastel. Use a makeup brush like this to brush it off. If you don't have one, you can just gently blow it, but you need to be a little bit careful. If you do that, it doesn't always work very well either. Now I notice on this particular curve there are dots here like they're sea spray, so we can do those in a white pen and it will look nice against this grey pastel. Well, I say look nice, it'll add to the stormy look, hopefully. The idea of this is not to sort of look nice and pretty and whimsical. Definitely not. So I'll just finish erasing. You can just see how easy and quick it is to do that. And then it's all ready for colouring, finishing the pencil work. So there's our sea, there's our sky. Yeah. So there we go. There's our lighthouse so far. I will finish it. As I said, I haven't decided what I told you what I'm doing with the water. I've got no idea what I'm doing underneath. I will probably do some paler water, maybe with pastel because it's a lot easier than pencil and quicker. But I've got to do all of these little details as well, so I'll have to have a think about that. But I'm going to finish that at some point. I'm just thinking we're not very dark in there. I'm going to add a bit more dark pastel in there. There. So it looks really stormy. Now you could put stars in the sky if you want to, but I think that will make it look too pretty, and it's not a pretty picture. So there we go. So I hope that was okay for you, something really different for you to try compared to what I've shown you on this page before. So I just thought I'd have a go at a different idea. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a really lovely start to your week and a really brilliant day, and happy colouring.